You are listening to One Happy Podcast, episode 32.
My grandson was on it with us, and he said to me, "Oma, I can't believe you did that. You are the best Oma in the world." I got big points for it.
And welcome to One Happy Podcast, the officially unofficial podcast of the island of Aruba. I'm your host, Curtis Robinson, aka Aruba Kurt, and before we get started, I just want to take a minute to thank you all so much for downloading and listening to today's episode. Joining me today on One Happy Podcast is an amazing guest who has actually been living on the island of Aruba for 15 years. How cool is that? Over the course of that time, she's transitioned from an island newbie to someone who's thoroughly integrated into all things Aruba. A self-described foodie, she is married to one of the most talented chefs on the island and enjoys sailing, cooking, and taking care of her adorable grandchildren. I would like to welcome to One Happy Podcast, Marlene Nichols-Scherrenburg. Hi, Marlene. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Kurt?
Pretty good. A little bit cold up here, but first I want to thank you for taking part in this interview.
You're welcome. A little bit nervous here, but that's okay. We'll get through it.
No need to be. You know what? I love talking to vacationers about Aruba, but since so many of us daydream about moving to Aruba, I think it's cool to talk to Americans that have actually made that move. So how long have you been living in Aruba?
I've been here 15 years.
You're from California, right?
I was actually born in Chicago, but I pretty much grew up in California.
Okay. So how does a California girl end up in Aruba?
Well, my ex-husband and I actually moved to Texas when our son was in junior high school. I was actually transferred there for the company I worked for. Mm-hmm. And after 4 years in Houston, he was asked to go. He worked for a big hotel chain. He was asked to go to Dallas, but only for 18 months. And after 18 months, he could pick and choose wherever he wanted to go.
Okay.
And we've always been water people. We both grew up in sunny California on the beaches, the Redondo Beach area.
You're lucky. I grew up in Pittsburgh.
And when we lived in Texas, we lived on a lake. So we've always been water people. And at the end of the 18 months, he knew that it was definitely time to get out of there. And we knew the reason why he was told that he could have whatever he wanted. And we went online to look and see what was available, and we saw Aruba, but we had never heard of Aruba before. Mm-hmm. I mean, growing up in California, you either go to Mexico or you go to Hawaii, and Hawaii was always our choice.
Right.
And our son was getting ready to go off to college, so we thought, hey, let's check this place out. And we went online, and we did a little bit of research. I mean, very little. Mm-hmm. And 4 months later, he was transferred here, and I'd never regretted a second of it after that.
Right. So what were your first impressions when you moved to Aruba?
The people were extremely friendly. There were great restaurants. Wherever you went, it's like if you went there twice, everybody knew who you were when you came back, 2 weeks later. The water was absolutely beautiful. The weather was perfect. The only thing that really was missing was our son. But he was in college, and he needed to do his time.
Right.
It was our time. So,
and there you go.
Yeah, he had to earn it.
Does he visit you often?
Actually, he lives here now also.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, after about the fourth time of putting him on a plane in 4 years, he said to us, I really want to move here. And we said, okay, college is done. He was working. He wasn't happy in his situation where he was at. So we said, you know what? It's been 4 years. You've done your time. Now you can move to Aruba.
Right. That's very cool, having the family together.
Yeah, and it was great. He came to Aruba, and he thought he would take a couple of months off from work. Mm-hmm. And he ended up getting a job immediately. He was also in the hospitality industry.
Okay.
As a front desk manager. You can imagine how that is. And he was in the greater Houston area with that position, and he had 3 hotels.
Okay.
That he worked for, 3 different properties within that area. So when he came here, he got a job as a bartender.
That's a pretty big change.
I always say in Aruba, you can reinvent yourself, and he did.
Very cool. So how long has he been here?
He has been here 10 years now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he's married, and I have 2 beautiful grandchildren.
What are their names?
Nicole and Nicholas.
So you don't have any reason to ever move back to the United States?
Absolutely not. My daughter still lives there, but she comes to visit, so that's nice. Mm-hmm. And no, my grandchildren are small. They're 8 and 3. So that's kind of like what I live for here.
Must be amazing being able to watch them grow up in such an incredible place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's such a nice environment.
Yeah, definitely. So what's a day in your life like?
Well, it depends on what day it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm blessed enough to only work 3 days a week now. So I'm what I call semi-retired. Although I do a few little jobs here and there on the side for some people, also different companies.
Uh-huh.
And, my weekends are spent with my grandchildren. And
you can't beat that.
No. And I have a lot of friends, tourists that I've met over the years living here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot, because we are a timeshare island, we have a lot of repeat guests.
Right.
So it's like throughout the year, there's always somebody here. And
yeah, that must really keep things fresh because, I mean, Aruba is such a small island that I imagine it could get kind of boring. But between the grandkids and with people constantly visiting you, it's probably just incredible.
It is. And it's amazing because then you meet even new people that live on the island. And you find out that they also know so many people that you know on the island, but you had never crossed paths before.
Right. Small world.
Yeah. So it is nice. You get people that come to visit and you get to meet new friends from your other friends that you've met on the island. Mm-hmm. And it just doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys that live down there are so lucky.
We are. I could never imagine living in the States again. I really couldn't. I have tourists that I meet for the first time and they'll say to me, they find out that I live here. And then they'll ask how long, and I tell them 15 years. And the first question most of them ask, and like 99% is, well, do you like it? And I really kind of look at him, and I finally look at him and I say now, are you kidding me? No, I suffer. Every day I wake up and I suffer. What the hell was I thinking? Why would I do this to myself?
So, do you ever start to take things for granted down there? Like, are the sunsets still special for you?
You know, that's probably one of the biggest regrets of living here. And I hear it from a lot of my friends that live here also on the island. We do take it for granted. Because on those times, we'll go sailing maybe once every 2 months. Mm-hmm. And when we do it, it's like, why don't we do this more often? I mean, it's here. But we wake up every day going, you know what? We can do it next weekend. Or we can do it next week. And my husband works 6 days a week, so that makes it a little bit tough also. I mean, he encourages me to go and do things, but I always feel a little bit bad that he's in the kitchen cooking his butt off for the tourist, and I'm out sailing on a boat for the day,
Yeah, I imagine you could feel guilty doing that.
A little bit. When friends are visiting, then it's okay. I don't feel so guilty then. I blame it on them.
Not to mention you also want to have those experiences with him,
Absolutely.
So when we visit as vacationers, we have one perspective on the island, but you guys have such a different perspective. Like restaurants, for instance. We tend to get steered towards certain restaurants, whereas you guys have the time to explore everything. I mean, you've probably been to every place there is on the island to eat. What are some of your favorites? Oh,
I have a lot of favorites. Probably one of my favorites is Que Pasa, which it doesn't get a lot of play by the tourists, but over the years I've met so many tourists just sitting there at the bar. It's one of those places where you feel welcomed and at home, and anybody that comes in, and it's frequented by both locals and tourists. So I've met a lot of locals there also. I've become friends for many, many years. That's probably my favorite, and every day they have fresh catch. Always fresh. So that's probably my favorite on the island.
And where's Que Pasa at?
Que Pasa's downtown in Oranjestad, just by the police station. It's in the very old, for people that have been coming to Aruba for a long time, if they remember the old Banuna Nunus.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where it's located. But that's actually the third location downtown.
Mm.
They've been around a long time. They are also the same owners of Arubaville,
Okay.
which is another great place to go. The sunsets are awesome there, and the food is good. It's a very relaxed, casual atmosphere. We really tend to steer away from the touristy places,
Right. I
I would
understand that.
say. After a while, and plus because of the fact that I'm now married to a chef, and
Right.
I've always been kind of a foodie myself, anyways. Actually, when my husband is off and we're at home and we don't go out, I cook. He doesn't cook.
Hmm.
So he's Dutch, so he gets some American style stuff, which is a treat for him.
He likes it.
He loves it. He loves it. In
Nice.
fact,
What's his favorite?
oh God, what's his favorite? Oh, probably my Mexican dish, pork carnitas,
Okay.
which I made last
Ah.
night.
Oh, nice. I dig them too.
Yeah, it's yeah.
You should have invited me over.
um, what's another one? Local store. I love the burgers there.
Hmm.
And my favorite is their new burner burger, which is fried onions and fried jalapenos.
Oh,
And
I'd be all over that.
it's just got the right amount of burn. It's actually, I think it's called the 3 burner,
Okay.
and it has a chipotle sauce that they use,
Hmm.
which is delicious. We also love a Filipino restaurant. They used to be open. They were called the Blue Dolphin, and they were at Blue Village.
Okay.
And they recently moved to Kings Plaza, which is one of the new malls along the main highway.
Okay.
And it's called Serapi.
I've never heard of that one. You're the
It's
first person to mention that.
it's brand new. They literally
Okay.
just they were open before at Blue Village for many, many years, and
Hmm.
very well known in the community of the Filipinos for their karaoke nights.
Yeah. Filipinos love karaoke.
Yeah, so does my husband.
Oh, yeah?
So he knows the owner and chef there very well.
Nice.
But for Filipino food, I mean, it's a great place, and they're so friendly and nice there, and it's something different.
Very cool.
And then,
Yeah, next time I come down, I'm going to just have to get the list from you of where to go.
yeah, we're gonna give you like some different, unique places to go. Also, we have a really good Indonesian Suriname restaurant called Indo,
Okay.
which is in the Palm Beach Nord area, and it's literally a little hole in the wall. They do more takeaway than they do people sitting down and eating.
Hmm.
But
That's right up my alley,
oh
honestly.
man, it's so good. I mean, they have roti. You know what a roti
Mhm.
is?
Yes.
Yeah. So they have roti, and they have my favorite bami with chicken, roasted chicken, and one of our new favorites is Chihuahuas, which
Yes,
is
I've been there. You
yes,
told me about that
yes,
place.
it's one of my new favorites. And I recently found out that one of the owners there's 3 owners. Chef Ruben, who's the owner of the Mexican taco truck, also.
Hmm. Love that place.
Yeah, which his son is now running for him. And now it's Ruben, and then Alex. Alex opened up the original Carlos and Charlie Senior Frogs downtown.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I remember that place.
So you can imagine the atmosphere they're trying to create there now.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a really fun place.
It is, and I work for the Kupu Kanuku buses on a part-time basis, and
Mhm.
we're actually starting to take our buses there in the evening.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that'll help liven it up a little bit there. But I love the food. It's a fun, simple, easygoing, casual place. And
Yeah, the food
yeah,
was really good when we were there.
yeah, and it's gotten better now. You know,
Oh, nice.
they had a little quirks to work out, like
Right.
those little teeny tiny round seats that your legs didn't fit on, let alone the
Yeah,
butt.
Maggie was complaining about those.
But they have other chairs, I found out. So now when I walk in, they already have a chair at my table for me.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the Cuckoo Kanuku, we went on it this past trip. Had a blast. It's always one of one of the highlights of our trips.
Yeah, it's always a fun trip. And you know,
Mhm.
we get so many people, it doesn't matter how old they are. I mean, we get 70-year-olds on there. It's really
Right.
incredible, the differences in ages and stuff, and everybody gets along great. So it's always a fun time.
Hmm. Yeah, there were a couple, 3 people on our tour they were about late 60s, I would say, maybe early 70s.
And it was probably their 10th time doing it or something.
Yeah, they had been on it multiple times.
Yeah, of course.
But it's funny because by their demeanor, you thought that they were just there to people watch. But then as soon as we made it to the first bar, they're out there dancing and singing and everything. They probably had more energy than anybody else on the entire tour.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah, it was a
fun.
lot of fun.
I'm actually going this Friday. My girlfriend Cheryl and I, who you met, Cheryl,
Mm-hmm.
she's done the
Yep.
podcast before.
Yes.
My Boston sister. Her and I go to a exercise class. It's called Slim Down Dancing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's mostly Arubians. We're the only Americans there. Let me just say that. And there's no Dutch. It's all Arubians, but it's a fun
Okay.
class. It's a good exercise class, and they do a trip every once in a while, something special to get everybody together and bond. And Friday night we're going to do the pub crawl with the group, so that should be interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. You guys are tight down there. Like it's a really tight-knit community, it seems.
Yeah, it is because it's so small.
So what is the expat community like down there? Do you guys all hang out together?
You know, originally when I first moved here, I had met a few expats because my ex-husband was an executive at one of the major hotels here on the island.
Mm-hmm.
And all of us wives, part of the package of us coming here was we had to give up our careers. We were no longer allowed to work.
Okay.
And they were very strict about that. As Aruba in general is still very strict about that. You know, it's very difficult to get a work permit.
Yeah. Yeah, I've looked into that.
Yeah. And we, you know, you can only do so much beach time. You can only take so many tennis classes, and you can only,
Right.
you know, do all of this stuff. And we used to get together once a year, a whole group of us, about 50 people, and we would do what we called an international party at a friend's house.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was from all over the world, from India, from the Philippines, from Holland, from America, Venezuela, Colombia. You know, it's a melting pot here.
Yes.
And someone said to me one night, why do we only do this once a year? We have so much fun. Because we would all bring in our own cultures and our own dishes
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. So another friend of mine at that time, her husband was a GM of the hotel where mine worked. And her and I got together and said, you know, we need to start a group for all of these people that, you know, they don't know each other. And we have so many expats, especially within the hotel industry.
Right.
Let's start a group where we can do something once a month and get together. And maybe we'll add in a family day. So maybe we have
Mm-hmm.
one family day and then we have an adult day.
Right. Sounds like a great idea.
It was. We started a group called International Friends of Aruba.
Okay.
And she was the president and I was the membership chairperson because I had been here already many years and knew a lot of people. And we used to do fundraisers once a month for different things on the island, and we would do cooking classes at individuals' homes. And it was really a great way for new people coming to the island to get to know other people
Right.
that, you know, were maybe recently here or had been here. Also to learn things like when you go to rent a house or an apartment, if you want hot water, you need to ask, do you have hot water?
Mm-hmm.
Or you need to know that all of your bills, your telephone bill, your electric bill, your water bill, they're all due on the same day. And they don't come via the mail. Or if they do, you never get them.
That's challenging.
And yeah. And at that time, we didn't have online banking. So you would literally be at all of these locations to pay your bills standing in line. And if you wanted to buy something at a grocery store, say really simple things like chocolate chips to make cookies for your kids, if you saw chocolate chips in the grocery store, buy 4 bags and freeze 3.
Makes sense.
Because when you come back next week and want to do them again, they won't be
They
there.
might not be there, yeah.
Exactly. So we started this group for that reason. And it grew very, very, very big. And eventually I moved on to a career on the island and just didn't give me the time to continue on. And she eventually moved on. And the group continued for a long time, probably till about 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really a good way for people to know what to expect.
Right.
And, you know, if you go to pick up your license plates here, we all have to go get our license plates. We don't get little stickers, which we should because it would be great for the environment.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah, you would remember to take a book with you because you didn't know how long you would be there. And I always felt like if I took a book with me to read, my time was much shorter because I was prepared for the line of 4 hours.
Yeah, that's how it works. And then you got some poor guy sitting there with nothing to do.
Exactly.
He's got to wait the entire time.
Yes. And even going to the bank here is a long, long line. Finally, we have online banking, though. When I moved here, somebody said to me, just remember that everything in Aruba is 5 years behind America.
It seems that way.
It is. It's so true. It's really, really true. But things have gotten better over the years. It's kind of nice to see the progression.
Yeah, but in some ways, that's part of the charm, too, is the fact that it is,
right.
a little bit behind the times.
Yeah, of course. And then I have friends that move here now, and they say to me, yeah, this is bad, and that's bad. And I'm like, you should have been here 15 years ago. It took me 9 months to get a phone.
Right.
Seriously, it took me 9 months to get a house phone.
Wow.
Yes, when I first moved here. The only good thing was, is I always tell everybody, I lived in Texas for 6 years before I moved here, and everything is slow in Texas. No matter what you're doing, it's just slow. It's a slow lifestyle where we lived anyway.
So you were already a little bit used to it.
Exactly. I had gotten rid of that hustle and bustle from living in California.
Right. Yeah.
So
that would have been a complete shock.
Yeah, of course. So it was fine for me. It was fine.
Yeah, sometimes I have a hard time turning that part of me off when I go on vacation to Aruba. I want things, immediately. Mm-hmm. After a day or two, I settle into it. I need to work on that.
Yeah, even when I make appointments with somebody, I'll say to them, so you're going to be here on American time or Aruba time? Because I'm still not into the whole Aruba time. I was raised where you were always 15 to 30 minutes early, let alone being on time. So for me, that's probably my only pet peeve, but I've learned to work through that because I ask people, are you going to be here on Aruba time or on my time? That's why I love my Cheryl. She's always 5-10 minutes early.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you guys seem like a good match.
Yeah, we get along pretty well.
Yeah, she's a nice lady.
Super nice, yes.
It was really good to be able to meet you guys when we were down there. I wish we had more time.
I know, you should have stayed for dinner. It was fun.
Yeah, I know we should have.
Yeah.
We had already had plans. See, that's the problem with planning things out, which, we do it a lot just to pass the time between vacations to Aruba. But once you get there, you're locked into certain things.
Of course. But next time you already know you need to just figure out one day. And it needs to be on a Sunday. So
sounds good.
You pick a Sunday and that you just block that out and you have it for all of us here in Aruba.
Yes.
Because we enjoyed meeting you guys a lot.
I think next time we made the commitment that we're only going to plan a couple of dinners before we get there.
That's good because you're not here during high season, so you can plan stuff as you go along.
Well, we come twice. We come once in February or March, and then we come back in the summertime.
Have you been here for Carnival?
The tail end of it.
It's good to experience at least once, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 times. My husband doesn't like it. He doesn't like crowds, but
no,
but I enjoy it once in a while. And I had originally, when I first moved here, it's like every year I said, okay, this year I'm going to do one more thing. Normally I always did the Grand Parade. That was a must. And then I said, now I need to add in one more thing and try it. So I've been to the Jouvert morning, and I'm not a young thing. I'm a little older.
So, you're young at heart.
I am young at heart. Sometimes I don't realize how young at heart I am until the next day and I'm suffering.
I know that feeling.
But Jouvert morning was really, really, really fun. And probably the best thing about Jouvert morning was the fact that you were able to join into the parade. It's early in the morning. It starts at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, see, that's one of those things where I would be like, let's just stay up and go to it, and then I would be regretting it the next day.
Well, here's what us locals do. Let me give you a local tip. The local tip is you go to bed at 9 o'clock at night, and then you get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then you head up there. So you've had some rest, because there's also a parade the next morning in San Nicolas that starts at 7 a.m.
So yeah, you definitely don't want to just try and party on through the night.
Yeah, I've never made it to the 7 a.m. San Nicolas Grand Parade, but I have made it through the Jouvert morning, and it's definitely worth doing it at least once. It's really, really fun.
Yeah, we get restricted on the dates that we can actually go down there, so we would have to do it one of the years where Carnival was later than normal.
Right.
What are some other activities that you like to do? Not just special occasions like Carnival, but activities you can enjoy year-round.
My favorite thing to do is to go sailing on Tranquilo.
Tranquilo?
Tranquilo.
Kilo.
Kilo, yeah, Tranquilo. And the reason is because I don't snorkel. I don't want any fish around me. I want the fish to stay away. In Tranquilo, you get to sail for 2 hours to the south side of the island, not wherever all the other boats go. Mm-hmm. And then you spend about 2 hours there, and then you get to sail back for another 2 hours. So it's all about the sailing for me.
Right. Yeah, that is cool.
I get 4 hours of it, and it's a small boat. They only hold like 16 people.
So it'd be the perfect thing to do with like a large group.
It is. I've been there. My son asked his wife to marry him on Tranquilo.
Nice.
And my girlfriends years ago and we used to private charter Tranquilo on Sundays and do a girls' trip. Mm-hmm. That was fun.
Yeah, it seems like the way to do it.
Yeah. So that's probably my favorite thing to do. And the other, Jolly Pirates is another great, fun boat trip to go on. Even though I don't snorkel, I do like the Pirates Poison. That's their little rum concoction that they make.
Oh, okay.
And actually, my husband and I got married on Jolly Pirates.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, we did.
That's pretty cool.
We did.
Did you do the rope swing after you said I do?
No. No. I got tricked into the rope swing. I have to tell you this was too funny. We did the company I work for, Kuku Kanuku, they also own Midushi.
Okay.
Or owned Midushi. And Midushi, the old Midushi, was a sailing ship like Jolly Pirates. But I went to work for Kuku Kanuku after I had already booked Jolly Pirates for our wedding. Mm-hmm. And they were two competing boats at that time.
Right.
So it was a little bit of a difficult thing, but I told my new bosses, just so you know, nothing against you guys, but I'm getting married on Jolly Pirates. But we had our bachelorette party on Midushi. And one of our employees at that time, Johan, after a few champagnes, talked me into getting on his back and going off the rope swing. Promised me he would not flip. Promised. Like 4 or 5 times. He flipped. And actually it was fun. I wouldn't do it again, but I did do it once, so it was all good.
Are there any pictures of this anywhere?
Probably somewhere. Somewhere on the internet there are, I'm sure.
Right. I have to search for them.
I found out later my husband gave him the thumbs up to go ahead and flip me,
Of course he did.
But then I also reminded Johan that I did the payroll. Oh, yeah. But it was all fun.
I have a feeling that you always win.
Well, usually. My grandson was on it with us, and he said to me, Oma, I can't believe you did that. You are the best Oma in the world.
Oh, nice. So you got points for it.
I got big points for it, yeah.
Now, do you have him every weekend?
If he had his way, he'd probably move in. No, usually at least every other weekend. Mm-hmm. We have a hard time with each other not seeing each other at least every other weekend.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, he grew up in my house up until he was 4 years old. The time he was born, he was in the house. So we have a different bond.
Right.
It's pretty unique. And he's like a mini me. He's like a little adult. I can take him anywhere I go. That he's legally allowed. He would go to bingo with us on Sundays if they would let him inside the casino.
Right.
And hang out with everybody and have a great time.
Oh, I'm sure.
He's a little bit of a charmer.
That's good.
And it must be the Venezuelan side in him. When we first moved here, we were always shocked at how people could talk between all these languages. I mean, most Arubians speak 4 languages fluently.
Right.
And we would stand in a group of people and be talking English, and then somebody would walk up and the Arubian would switch to Dutch, and go to Papiamento, and it was just incredible, and it always amazed me. And now I have an 8-year-old grandson who, by the time he was 5, spoke fluent Spanish, English, and Papiamento.
Right, and switches back and forth effortlessly.
Yes, and now it's Dutch. Because in school, of course, they learn Dutch. So now for the past few years, his Dutch has gotten really good. And I always tell my husband, speak to him in Dutch just to keep it going, and it helps him in school also. Because my son speaks English, and my daughter-in-law is Venezuelan, so they have Spanish and English in the house, but no Dutch.
Right. So all the more reason for him to visit you as often as possible.
It sounds like a good reason to me.
Yeah. So how's your Dutch?
Oh, not good at all. I'd say lekker, but that would mean good.
Okay. Just the swear words, huh?
Don't even know those.
No.
No, I think the Dutch swear in English, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
It makes it easy.
Yeah, I think theirs is pretty much English. Yeah, I don't, we get spoiled living in Aruba
Hmm.
because they cater to the American tourists.
Right. Everything's so accommodating there.
So everybody speaks English. And you don't really, I have not offended, I don't want to say pissed off, maybe offended. Over the years I've been working here in Aruba where I've gone to like the Labor Department or DEMAS or had a phone call from one of them, and they get upset with me because they'll say to me, like 5 years ago, they would say to me, yeah, you've been here 10 years and you don't speak Papiamento? And then they would only speak Papiamento to me. And then I had to answer their questions. But the good thing is that, you pick up a lot of stuff living here. So
Sure.
I understand a lot of Dutch and I understand a lot of Papiamento, but I'm going to answer back to you in English.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it is what it is. I don't have one of those minds for learning languages.
Right. Now, yeah, some people pick up on things a lot easier. Usually when you're younger, it's much easier to pick up on things.
Yes, absolutely. Although I did fail Spanish in third grade, I think.
I think everybody in California speaks Spanish.
Yeah, you're supposed to. That's where I failed.
So you mentioned Jan is a chef.
Yes, he is.
Where does he work?
He works at Barney's.
Barney's.
Yeah.
Love Barney's.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorite places. Yeah.
Yeah, they've gotten very popular over the years, which is great because they're a new restaurant on the island.
Yeah, I remember when they opened. We went there that first year.
He wasn't the chef there the first. Well, he was after about 6-7 months. He was previously the chef at Madame Jeanette's.
Okay.
But he knows the owner really well. She actually worked for him in Holland in his restaurant.
Okay.
And he consulted while he was working at Madame Jeanette's with them to get everything up and running and going. And then eventually went into the kitchen.
Mm. I might be one of the few tourists that have never been to Madame Jeanette's.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
Wow. But you've been to El Gaucho, right?
I've never been to El Gaucho.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, yay you. No. I never say anything bad about any restaurants because we all have different tastes.
Right, definitely.
Whether it's the ambiance, the service, and I've been to places where people are just full blown head over heels about them, and I go, "What was so special?"
Right.
But that's so I try not to say anything negative about any place. I've been to El Gaucho before, actually. I went once, but I went with a group of 15 people, and the place is it's very loud in there, but the food was excellent, and the server actually shocked the hell out of me. Because he took 15 orders of steak dinners and never wrote a thing down, and it came out perfect.
Very nice.
Perfect.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive.
It was very impressive, but I haven't been back there again. And for me, a lot of the touristy places, they're overcharging way too much money. And being a local and living in Aruba and working in Aruba, what people don't realize when you work in Aruba. Take whatever job we're doing in the United States and cut the salary in half. That's what we make here. And so we don't tend to go to the touristy spots because of that.
Oh, yeah. No, I completely understand that.
I'm not paying, $40 for a steak that I can get someplace else for $20.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Right. No, I definitely understand that. Yeah. I mean, you know how it is when you're on vacation. You're a lot more liberal with what you spend.
Yes.
Just doesn't matter as much.
Right.
But yeah, if I lived there, the way I would eat would be completely different.
Well, we love carte blanche. That's one of our top favorites. We don't get to go there but for special occasions because it's a little pricier.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're foodies and we love good food. And I've known Dennis since his first day on the island. So I've known him about 12 years. And he used to work in a restaurant called Tabasco that was at the Bushiri Hotel.
Okay.
And that was an excellent restaurant. That's where I fell in love with him and his cooking. And that is just amazing. But it's for foodies. If you're not a foodie and you don't want to try something different, and not have control over your meal, then don't
Right.
go
Then you
there.
might want to skip
Yeah,
that
don't
place.
go
Yeah.
there. Just don't.
Yeah. Me and Maggie, we've looked at like Carte Blanche and
Two
Two Fools and a
fools.
Bull.
Yes.
I'm more of the type of person that I would go to a place like that and I would enjoy the experience. Whatever you put in front of me, I'm going to eat. And,
Yes.
if it's well prepared, I'm going to like it. Her, on the other hand, probably half the things they put in front of her, she would push to the side. So it's
She's
not
gonna
really
be,
worth it for us to go.
no, it's not, and that's unfortunate because the thing is if my son, the first time he went to Carte Blanche, I remember him sending me pictures, going,
Hmm.
"Mom, look, I ate salmon. Mom, look, I had ceviche.
Hmm.
Mom, look, I ate foie gras." I mean, he was shocked at all the things that he tried.
Right. Yeah, sometimes if you just, just be open minded towards things, then it'll expand your horizons so much.
Yeah, sometimes it's better not to know what you're having, just to eat it
Hmm.
and enjoy it, and then when you're all done, then go like, "Oh wow, really? That's what that was? Oh, okay,
Right. No. Yeah,
that's
I
pretty
completely
good."
agree with that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Don't tell me what it is. Just put it in front
yeah,
of me.
exactly.
Yeah. No, she's not like that at all.
Oh, we're gonna have to fix that.
Yeah. 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 Work on that with
I
me.
will. I will.
So, Marlene, I noticed that recently you started a new Facebook group. You want to tell me something about that?
Sure. A few weeks ago, there's several Facebook pages on Aruba, on about Aruba, that
Hmm.
have been geared towards tourists coming to Aruba. And there's a woman and her husband here from England
Hmm.
that are not building, but they're renovating a home in Sabaneta
Hmm.
it's called Villa Fortunas, that they're renovating as a rental property. And it's in Sabaneta in our original fishing village, and a part of Aruba that most tourists don't go to or stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah, I
don't.
noticed that. I like that area of the island. We've begun exploring it, but we haven't, really familiarized ourselves with it. But we plan on doing that in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. There's great restaurants there and great
Hmm.
little rum shops there, and just friendly people and a nice, fun place to like tour around for the day.
Right.
And she started posting a bunch of pictures of, everything, the renovations and all they were going through. And a couple of the pages said, "You know what? This is now a business and you can't advertise on our page
Hmm.
anymore." Even though she was just putting updates of what they were
Right.
doing in the process. And for me, I thought it was thrilling to watch it because they are getting stuff done so quick in Aruba. I
Yeah.
can't believe
Yeah.
it. I'm like,
Yeah. I had a lot of fun watching the updates.
yeah, and I'm like shocked, really shocked at how fast they're getting things done.
Hmm.
So I thought, you know what? We need a page for Aruba businesses. There's only advertisement. Just post whatever you want to post on there.
Hmm.
And two of those Facebook pages, the administrators actually thought, "Wow, thank you for doing this." So it's new, and I'm just now getting the information out to the businesses here in Aruba
Hmm.
to let them know that this is a place where you can come and post your specials that you have going on, a post about your business so that the tourists know about it.
Hmm.
And so far, it's still small, it's growing, and they're slowly. My goal is that the businesses are posting their stuff on there, not me doing it, which I'm doing
Right.
right
Right.
now, trying to get them used to that.
Hmm.
And because I think social media really works here. I mean,
Yeah.
it works all over, but it really works for Aruba. So it's for that reason. I mean, it's just for people just to come on and post their stuff about, their specials they have going on. So when tourists are here on the island, they can see what's going on, what's happening, where there's a happy hour or where there's a special band or maybe there's a special promotion for dinner, any
Right.
of those
Yeah.
things. Or
Yeah. It seems like a great idea to have a
uh,
centralized location for all that stuff.
and it's easy for them to do.
Hmm.
It's easy just to share on the page,
Right.
and that's pretty much all it's for. That's it.
Yeah. Because all those guys are on Facebook anyway, so you might as well advertise your specials on that page.
Right. Just tag one more place.
Hmm.
Just tag Aruba Promote Your Business, and then it goes there also. And I'm getting a lot of good feedback from the tourists saying that they're really happy that it's there because,
Yeah, it's a great idea.
yeah, thank you. I don't have anything else to do a couple of days a week anyway, so it gives me something to do.
Keeps you out of trouble.
Well, kinda.
So, Marlene, are you ready to enter the eye of the hurricane?
Okay, I've been through a couple of close ones here, so let's go for it.
Okay. Well, you know better than anyone that Aruba lies below the hurricane belt. But on One Happy Podcast, we visit the eye of the hurricane. So that's where I'm going to ask you a series of tough questions, and you're going to get back to me with just amazing and mind-blowing answers, okay?
I'll try.
Finish this sentence. You know you're in Aruba when?
The sun is shining and your feet are in the sand.
Give me a no-brainer great time in Aruba.
Oh, God. Kuku party bus, definitely.
Definitely. What's the best kept secret in Aruba?
Our little hidden restaurants that local or tourists aren't so willing to try out.
Mm-hmm.
Stop at that food truck. Where you see there's a line of people, stop at it. The food is good. They wouldn't be there if it wasn't good.
I agree. Whenever I see a line of locals, I know that that's the spot.
Absolutely.
So give me 3 restaurants that don't get nearly the attention they deserve.
Indo.
Mm-hmm.
Que Pasa.
Mm-hmm.
Local store.
Yes, nice. Yeah, we went there a couple times on our trip. Great food, incredible food, actually.
Yes.
Is there anything you miss about living in the United States?
Absolutely nothing. When I first moved here, I missed shopping.
Mm-hmm.
But now I have great friends that if I want something, they just bring it to me if I can't get here on the island. So, no. I don't even go back. I haven't been to the States in 5 years.
Oh, nice. Bless your heart.
I tell my family, you want to see me, you come here. My friends are already coming.
Mm-hmm.
So, my family wants to see me, then they come to Aruba.
You wouldn't have to tell me twice. Yeah, honestly, and living in Aruba, you probably noticed that you have to shop a lot less. When we in the United States, we feel the need to just buy stuff just because it's there.
Absolutely correct. And, when I have been in the States, I go into the grocery store and I go, oh my God, look at all this stuff. Mm-hmm. But we've also grown. I mean, Ling & Sons used to be the size of my frigging apartment, and now it's this huge mega store that pretty much you can have whatever you want. And we have amazing fruits and vegetables that we don't always get so much in some of the stores in the States that I'd seen before.
Right. Yeah, Ling's is actually a lot bigger than my grocery store. What's missing from Aruba, or how do you think Aruba could be improved?
A sense of urgency. Nobody has a sense of urgency on Aruba. Mm-hmm. You're really on island time. Nothing is urgent to anybody. It just isn't. And if you can put your mind in that same mindset, then you'll be okay.
Right, but easier said than done.
Exactly.
So this is the final question of the Eye of the Hurricane. How has Aruba changed over the years?
We have a lot more condominiums going up, which makes me crazy. Mm-hmm. And I'm shocked that they're actually selling. It amazes me that we have all of these timeshares, we have all the hotels, but yet all these condominiums keep going up and they're doing well. It just surprises the hell out of me.
It's one of the most popular islands in the Caribbean, and people just have more money than they've ever had at any time in history.
Yeah, it's still shocking, really.
Well, Marlene, you survived the eye of the hurricane. How was it?
Oh, I'm so glad I survived. And there's no flooding going on around me. That's a good thing.
Always a good thing. All right, so the last thing that I want to ask you before I let you get out of here is, so many people dream about moving to Aruba, but most of us probably never will. What advice would you give to someone who's thinking about making the move to Aruba?
My advice would be to come here and live here for your maximum 3 months time that you have. And maybe do that a couple of times and do it in an area that you think you want to live in, rent in that area, and live the life before you make that final decision. Because it is different. You're in another country.
Mm-hmm.
and things aren't going to work the same way they work at home.
Right. Yeah, definitely great advice. Okay, Marlene, you were an amazing guest. I want to thank you for joining me on One Happy Podcast. Hope you had fun.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you for asking me to join it. I really appreciate it. It was good.
I'm glad you did it.
And I did it without Aruba Arribas. Thank you, Cheryl. I asked Cheryl, but she wouldn't bring me any.
Oh. All right, Marlene, well, I'll let you get out of here, okay?
All right. Tell Maggie hi.
Will do.
Good chatting with you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
So there you have it, another exciting episode of One Happy Podcast. I hope you enjoyed your time with me. Once again, I want to thank Marlene Scherrenburg for being such a wonderful guest. It really is an honor to be able to pick the brain of someone that's been so well integrated into the Aruba lifestyle for as long as she has. And you know what else is an honor? Being able to put on a show for you guys, the best audience on the planet. Now, I know we talked about a lot on this episode of the show, but don't worry if you think you may have missed something, as I'll have the show notes listing all the main points we talked about at onehappypodcast.com/EP32. OneHappyPodcast.com is the headquarters for the podcast. There you'll find not only this episode of the show, but also an archive on the 31 other episodes that have been produced thus far. Now, if you'd like to be a guest on a future episode of the show, please contact me. This can be done in a number of different ways. You can like my Facebook page, which is located at www.facebook.com/onehappypodcast. You can visit the onehappypodcast.com website and fill out the Share Your Story form located there. Or you can just email me at kurt@onehappypodcast.com. That's Kurt with a C. We all have an Aruba story to tell, and maybe yours will help someone else out there find their way to paradise. I absolutely cannot wait to speak with each and every one of you. But until next time, hit the music.